If there's one guitar that belongs in everybody's collection, it's a 12-string. And if you're going to buy a 12-string, it should probably be a Danelectro. Let's talk about it. My name's Nick Jennison, and I'm thinking about guitar. And today, we're taking a look at the Dano Cool 12-string from our friends at Danelectro. Now, the Dano Cool range takes elements from existing Danelectro guitars and combines them in new and interesting ways to create instruments that evoke the cool of the 1950s and 60s models, but in a unique and new way. And this 12-string is an example of that. We have a splittable lipstick humbucker in the bridge, a large format single coil in the neck. It has the bell headstock from 1954 and the skate tuners from 1958. It's kind of a hybrid of various Danelectro models, but in 12-string format. It sounds absolutely killer. I'm a firm believer that everybody should have 12-string and baritone for that matter in their collection, but that's probably another subject for another day. Before we get too nerdy about this guitar, let's take another listen to it played in a variety of styles through a variety of rigs. So now we've heard a little bit of what this guitar could do, let's talk more about the specifications, starting at the brand new Bell Headstock. So up here at the headstock, we have Danelectro's 1954 Bell headstock design. It's a departure from the more traditional headstock shape that I'm a big fan of, but I love the boldness of this design with the simple Dano logo on the front in contrasting colours. This finish is aqua, but other finishes are available. We also have 12 skate tuners. These are 6 and 6 in configuration. I'll flip it over and show you the back. Now, the skate tuners are from 1958, so we have 54 headstock and a 58 set of tuners. These are really just aesthetic visual touches. They're not going to influence the way the guitar plays or sounds, but they look and feel very, very nice. Now, taking a look at the back of the neck very quickly, this is an area where 12 strings can typically fall down because the necks can be large or cumbersome. This neck is a perfect combination of enough thickness for stability, but also enough playability in terms of its profile. It's fairly slim, it's quite wide, as you might expect, slightly wider than a traditional 6-string electric guitar. I'll flip it over and show you the fretboard, where we have this aluminium nut, or aluminum for our American friends, and 21 medium vintage style frets. Now, this is what you want on this kind of guitar because it's unlikely you're going to be doing any crazy string bends or rapid shred stuff. What you want is a comfortable fret profile that prioritizes chording and arpeggio work, because that's the sort of stuff that you're going to be playing on this kind of guitar. However, as you would have heard in the jams that we were doing just a second ago, it's also really great for slide, thanks to the slightly flatter profile that this guitar has. Now, in terms of the string arrangement, we have the traditional high string, low string config, rather than the Rickenbacker configuration, which puts the low string at the top. This has a subtle effect on the way the guitar sounds and makes it a little brighter, whereas the Ricky arrangement has a slightly darker sound because the string that you hit first with the downstroke is going to be the one that we hear most prominently. And as you might expect, we have our typical arrangement of octave strings on the low 4 pairs of strings, and then unison strings on the high 2. Now, turning your attention to the heel and the neck join, it's a 4-bolt neck design with lots of mass, lots of contact between the neck and the body. This is going to improve stability, and it's also going to improve the transfer of sound from the body to the neck. You're free to opine about how much difference this makes, but I know luthiers who swear by this sort of stuff, and they're a lot smarter than me, so I'm going to take their word on it. However, we also have a traditional semi-hollow body design here, which is also going to influence the way the guitar resonates. Now, once again, this is a center block design with semi-hollow wings. There are no air pulls, but it is hollow chambers in here, which also keeps the guitar's weight down somewhat. And we have through body stringing for 6 of the 12 strings, and then the remainder are strung through the back of this bridge. Now, the bridge is a very clever design where we have 6 individual saddles, but each one contains within it 2 smaller saddles, which allow for individual intonation between the 12 strings. This is crucial if you want to play a 12 string in tune further up the guitar's neck, because believe me, tuning one of these is bad enough, but intonating one of them, it is the work of a full day if you're a bit of a lummox like I am. I'm sure some folks can do it a bit quicker, but I'm a bit of a moron with this stuff. So it's great to see this is individually intonatable, and it also means this is going to be appropriate for studio work where tuning is paramount. Now, in terms of the electronics, we previously mentioned that we have a splittable lipstick humbucker down here, which is essentially 2 lipstick pickups in a humbucker configuration. That splits with a pull on the tone control. It's a master tone. We also have a master volume with these very cool oven knobs, like them an awful lot. And we have a 3-way switch to go between the lipstick humbucker, either in its split or unsplit configuration, the large format single coil in the neck position, and the middle position, which, as is tradition for Danelectro, is wired in series rather than in parallel. So traditionally, the middle position on a 2 pickup guitar sounds smaller and quieter than either of the 2 pickups in isolation. This is the opposite. This middle position is the largest and thickest sound because these pickups are not playing in parallel, they're adding to each other. However, you can mitigate this by splitting the lipstick humbucker, which becomes very, very thin and loses quite a lot of output when you split it, but that's actually quite a cool sound, especially if you're playing through an amplifier with a little bit of hair on it. It's a great way to clean the amplifier up and brighten things up for a very appropriate 60s jangle, and it also works really well in that middle position. To that end, let's take a listen to the 5 tones that are available, played through a clean amplifier and then through a JCM 800 style amplifier, just so we can see how this guitar sounds with a bit of grit on it. We'll play the bridge position split, the middle position with the humbucker split, and finally the neck position on its own. Let's take a listen to how that sounds. So there you go, folks. That's been a look at the Dano Cool 12 string from our friends at Danelectro. This, to my mind, is a guitar that belongs in everyone's collection. If you don't have a 12 string, this is a really great place to start. It's capable of some very cool jangly tones, but also some thicker, more full deliveries. It works really, really well further up the neck because of the way the guitar intonates, and that middle position is big and fat. And if you want to play slide, for example, that's a really great choice. It's a surprisingly versatile guitar for what is essentially a specialist kind of instrument, and it looks the absolute business. So the colors are available, but this aqua is a really great choice, especially with this cool burgundy Tulle-X stripe along the sides. And in addition to this, it is also shockingly affordable. I encourage you to go and check that out at your leisure, because of course the price will change depending on your location and when you happen to be watching this video. But I think this is a really fine addition to any guitar arsenal, and I can even see myself picking one of these up fairly soon, because I do love myself a 12 string. Once again, this is the Dano Cool 12 string from Danelectro. My name is Jennison, and I'm thinking about guitar.